So where the hell have I been? And I am back. So where the hell have I been? I have been really ill. No, not with COVID, but just probably smoker's cough, as my ex likes to think, and probably just some level of cold/flu. So that's where I've been. I've been on my back and my butt in bed, sleeping mostly, and just feeling rough. But UK lockdown is soon to be lifted. They're talking June time, June, July sort of thing, for everyone to be allowed to be going back to normality and whatever it is that you do. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, welcome back to the diaries. So yes, June, July, UK is looking to be back to some level of normality. Now, I want to give some little tips of my own about making sure that when we do go back, we don't go into another lockdown and we don't get this horrible, nasty, deadly virus back. Because, remember what happened the last time UK came out of lockdown? Guys, it was barely a month, from what I remember. We were out of lockdown for barely a month, if not 3 months, barely 3 months. And we were back into lockdown again. So, yeah, there's a reason for that. And it's because too many news and media outlets and companies are turning around going, oh, this is a fake virus, the government's making it up. Oh, every country gets paid money whenever it goes into lockdown, so the more lockdowns your country has, the better, because it's getting more and more money for its healthcare system. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Who's supposedly paying for this? If it's EU stuff, but the UK left the EU, so surely the UK is not entitled to that. But no, so my tips to make sure that we don't go into another lockdown are as follows. Don't pile into pubs and restaurants. Yes, it's okay to go to a pub. Yes, it's okay to go to a restaurant. But that doesn't mean we should be making sure that every seat is filled and everyone is in enclosed like battery chickens or battery animals like that. Just take some time, be sensible about it. Don't go to a pub, to a restaurant when absolutely everybody else is going. If absolutely everybody else is there and you want to drink, try and wait a few more minutes to get to the bar safely without everybody in there too, and find a secluded space where there's not quite as many people. If you are going to the pub with a load of other people, as in load of other people are at the pub or at the restaurant, try and be separate from people, because just don't go mixing together, because that's what's going to make us have another spike and another lockdown. Don't invite the whole neighbourhood to a barbecue at your house. It's alright, it's one thing to have a barbecue at your place and it's another thing to offer a barbecue for your entire street and neighbourhood or complex. But it's another thing for that barbecue to be involved in a small secluded space where people aren't being smart and being cautious and being careful. You still need to be careful, you still need to just keep back and be staying aware of who it is you're hanging around with, or who it is you're touching, or who it is you're sat next to, because it's not over. Keep going with the masks and the hand washing wherever you can. So into shopping stores, or just before you get into a restaurant, pub, or somewhere like that, make sure you wash your hands as you enter, as you leave, as you come back from the bar, give your hands a nice wash, and wear your masks where you can as you go into the bar, as you go into the pub, as you go into the restaurant, as you go into the shopping centre, because not everyone will have had the vaccine, not everyone will want it, and that's okay, that's fine. Not everyone can have, and I'm going to kind of mention this again later, but not everyone will have symptoms when having COVID-19. It's the same for any other virus out there. You can have any kind of virus without having any symptoms at all. So you need to just still be careful about who you're speaking to. Not necessarily who you're speaking to, but who you're standing so close to while interacting. You need to be careful who you're interacting with. Which puts me to tip number 4. We're not out in the woods yet, so just stay smart. Like I said, this is not gonna end in June. This is not gonna end in July. This is not gonna end when we hit the quota of what's known as herd immunity. Because there's gonna be a percentage of people in the world, in your country, in the UK, that's not gonna want it. Whether they're anti-vaxxers or they're, I can't remember the actual name for it now, but, vax hesitant, that's it, vaccine hesitant. It doesn't matter if you're anti-vax or a vax hesitant person, you don't have to get the vaccine because it's okay not to. It's just that we need a particular percentage of the population of each set country to have said vaccine in order for the population, the humankind, to be seen as herd immune, as it were. I can talk about what I know about herd immunity in another video. Let me know down below. Let me know if you want me to do that, and I might consider bringing a friend in to help me with the scripting of that one, make sure I'm getting it all right. But I do know a reasonable amount about herd immunity and everything else between. But number 5, don't mix with people, with everyone, because people can still have COVID-19 without symptoms. So it's okay to mix with people after this point. It's okay to mix with anyone you choose. Just be careful who you choose. Don't go mixing with 90 million people all at one time. Don't go throwing a party for the entire town, stand in one big group and take a selfie, because, you still need to be careful about who you're standing close to, who you're mixing with, and everything else. So, I have an idea and a little tip to go with that one in a little bit. So I'll come to that in a minute. Number 6, stick to small groups of family and friends for a while. I'm talking about a month, 2 months. Just while everything settles and everyone goes back to the way they are and goes back to work and kids go back to school. Kids will have already gone back to school anyway. Biggest issue with kids going back to school, super quickly. Kids are the biggest germ spreaders in the universe, and any parent watching this, if you wish to let me know down below, go ahead. But any parent watching this will be nodding, agreeing, and everything else. The second your kid goes back to school or goes to school in September, within a week, they've come back with head lice, the cold, measles, chicken pox. It's just anything and everything, because parents are not always being smart enough. If your kid has chicken pox, don't send them to school. Give it a day or two after the kids recover from chicken pox, just to make sure it's fully gone. But it's also that thing. Not everyone is symptomatic within the first couple of weeks of getting any kind of virus. Like the cold virus. You can have the cold virus, but a week or 2 before you even start showing symptoms of said cold virus. And it's normally at the sneezing stage where you're the most infectious, but scientists believe that you're actually just as infectious, if not slightly more infectious, during that 2 weeks before you start showing symptoms. So yes, you can pass on your cold by sneezing, but it's also molecules in sweat that come out and stuff like that. So I don't exactly remember the science that they mentioned behind it, but people can be infectious without having it. People can be infectious at any time. So this is why I recommend keeping with the masks, keeping with the hand washing as much as possible and wherever you can. Don't just throw your mask away and just be like, woohoo, most of us are vaccinated, we're safe, we're gone, it's gone, we're good. No. We're not out the woods yet. My basic message is, do not let the country go into another spike. Do not let the country go into another lockdown. Make sure we are the top country in the world going, we've only had to have 2 lockdowns because we're smart asses. We're smart Alex who actually do as we're told. Be the good kid in school. Try not to be the nerd, obviously, but be that cool kid that, does as they're told, but does it in a way that it's like, we get the recognition, we get the support, we get all the stuff that's like, you're all there in detention because you've been naughty, but we get to go and play football out in the field because we've done as we're told and we've separated ourselves enough for a long amount of time, or for a good amount of time, to the point where we know that we're all safe. Which leads me on to number 7. Slowly bring yourself back to normality. This is what I mean. This is what I meant by having small groups of family and friends for a month or 2. You start with family members, you start with close friends, certain friends that you know and trust that will not have the virus, that will have not done stupid stuff and will have done enough that they can do during the major lockdowns to prevent themselves getting it. And then slowly bring your circle back to how it was before this pandemic started, before March last year. Because remember, we are we are genuinely a year into this now, because it was, I think, nearly a year ago that I had my operation. So I had my operation March 20th. It was around March 20th, 23rd. Somewhere around that time I had my operation. So, yeah, we've been in this for a year now. And yes, there are companies that are still going, oh, because of COVID, we don't have enough staff, we don't have enough this, that, and the other, and this one. Guys, seriously, it's been going on for a year. Why have you not got yourself sorted out yet? But it's also the fact that everyone's bored now. Everyone just wants to go back to work. Everyone just wants to go back to how they were before. And that's okay, that's normal. Everyone feels that way, guys. Everyone's bored. Don't go getting annoyed with people when they start being nasty. It's just, they're bored. You're bored, they're bored, everyone's just bored. Cut people some slack, because we're just bored. But just remember, we're nearly there. Nearly. Still a long road to go, but we're nearly there. Nearly. So, just a little bit more work, in the sense of, don't just dive straight into the universe of people and interaction. Take it slowly. Have particular people that you hang around with, that you trust, that you know. And even if those people haven't had the vaccine, don't judge. Don't judge anyone who hasn't had the vaccine. Because it's either that they are not on the described as vulnerable list, so they're not being called up for their vaccine yet anyway. It could be, like I said, that they're anti-vaxxers and they're not going to have it anyway. or it could be that they're vaccine hesitant and they're unsure about it, and that's okay. You can, by all means, just be like, right, okay, well, what have you heard? Oh yeah, that's scary, but I've heard this, and that's rubbish, and this is lies. What do you reckon? But if they still don't want to do it, then it's fine. Like I said, and a bunch of other doctors and everyone else said, we do technically only need a particular percentage of people to have this vaccine in order to be considered herd immune. So not everyone has to have it. But just remember that the stuff about pubs, restaurants and places turning around going, oh, have you got proof that you've had your vaccination? I do not know any pub that's actually going to take that into effect. I do not know any pub or any place, especially around me, that's going to adhere to that. If you think about Wetherspoons, for example, Wetherspoons is a big multimedia company run by someone who does not like to lose money wherever they can. So they pay the staff as minimum wage as possible, and they have basic food that just needs to be microwaved or just stuck in the oven or in the fryer. That's why a lot of it is just that sort of food. It's quick, easy food that doesn't need much cooking. So to lose revenue, not only through a lockdown, but because of discrimination of those who haven't had a vaccine, I just don't think it's a way that he's going to go or they're going to go. There's going to be places that will be like, right, okay, it doesn't matter if you haven't had your vaccine. However, they might split the restaurant in two so that those who have are on one side and those who haven't are on another. And yes, segregation would probably be coming back at that point, and that is horrible to think about, but I think that sort of segregation might be a little bit better than just turning people away. And it's a personal choice thing. It's probably just something that a certain set of companies will do, and it's something to expect. It's like, you might need to prove that you've had it or that you haven't had it, but you also might not, because the government are saying this vaccine is not compulsory. This vaccine is offered, and you may turn it down. You may say no. So why are they now also saying that if you say no, you're not going to be allowed in certain places? Doesn't really sound like it's my choice there, does it? Sort of sounds like you're making me do it by threatening me with not being able to go to certain places. But anyway, don't want to do too much of the vaccine talk, because I can do another video. Let me know down below if you want me to do a video on the vaccine talk. I might end up doing it anyway, I don't know. But vaccine talk, possibly. So number 8, talk to people in charge. This is for those with disabled family members or disabled people who use day centres. So talk to people in charge of the day centres, find out what their plans for getting back to normality are, getting them reopening are, and decide for yourself, or even if you have to decide for your disabled family member yourself, decide whether their plans for safety are safe enough for you or your family member to return to the day centre, because like I said, kids going back to school, probably one of the worst things for germs. Day centres are just as bad, if not, well, maybe not worse, but they are just as bad. But it's also the biggest respite a lot of disabled people have, and it's the only respite a lot of disabled people have. And there are disabled people out there at the moment that are not kicking themselves, but they're extra bored and extra annoyed because they don't have that space to go to that's away from home, away from family, that they can be with their friends, and it's the only time they get to be with some of their friends. Some of their friends they only see at the day centres. And it's been really difficult for a lot of those people. So, a lot of those people are going to want to dive straight back into it. But you can't just dive straight into it with everyone diving straight into it. It's alright if one person dives into a pool and just goes mad swimming everywhere. Think about an Olympic-sized pool with the entirety of the UK diving into that Olympic pool at once. If you think the entirety of the UK isn't enough people, try the entirety of America jumping into that Olympic pool. All the swimming around, all at once, and then add in the UK people. For those of you who have seen Young Sheldon, and those of you who have not, those who have will understand where I'm coming from with this next statement. Those who haven't, basically, Sheldon is afraid to go into the swimming pool for a swim test because it's dirty, even though we know that chlorine makes swimming pools one of the cleaner places that you could be. So he deliberately tries to get himself sick, and he manages it. He succeeds. Catches the cold off Billy, sneezes in the pool. Now chlorine's clean until something like that happens. This is why diving straight back into life again is not a good idea. If you have the vaccine and you end up having cold symptoms just after having the vaccine, you are still technically carrying COVID-19. It's just turned itself into cold or the flu. So you sneeze on someone and you give the entire party of people that you've just dived in with COVID-19 because you've had the first jab and you think you're all clear. And then the entire group of people you're with gets COVID-19 and we go back into another lockdown. Number 9, it is perfectly okay and also perfectly not okay to have the vaccine. So it is perfectly okay to have the vaccine. Those who have the vaccine should not be ridiculed and should not be thought of as gullible fools, because this is a real virus. People have said in the past, oh, it's a fake virus, it's not real, it's government conspiracy, and then they've got the virus and they've been stuck in hospital with the virus. Believe me now. But it's also okay not to have the virus. Like I said, some people are anti-vaccine, so they're not going to have it anyway. Other people are just vaccine hesitant and they've just been scared by media and everything else. So, that brings on to the next little bit of this. Just remember to listen to all sources of stuff on the vaccine. Look it up. Look the vaccines up. There are 2 vaccines in the UK to choose from, or 2 vaccines across the world to choose from, I believe. And they both do very different things. This virus is still new, and one of the vaccines is still new anyway. But it's amazing research and everything else. And all of the ingredients to both vaccines are publicly available online. So all you need to do is find out which one you're likely to be taking, or which 2 are available in your area. Look up the ingredients in there, because every single ingredient has to be notified either publicly online or on said bottle or needle or whatever, given to the public by law. It's the same with food products, it's the same with other medication. They have to, by law, declare every last little tiny ingredient in there. There's no microchips. That microchip story came from TikTok years ago, and it was about a company that was offering their workers a little chip inside their finger so that they could pay for printing, food, and all sorts at the work. That's what that was. No, they're not going to post a chip into your body. Also, you're not going to they're not going to give you a little bit of chemical that's going to kill you in 10 years. Honest. And finally, number 10, otherwise this video is just going to be stupidly long. But number 10, those who are getting the vaccine need to remember that you will not be considered immune to the virus until 2 weeks after your second jab. So don't go being stupid or reckless after your first shot. You can still catch COVID-19 after that shot. So what happens with the first jab? The first jab is just saying to your body, yo, this is sort of what you're looking for. We'll give you some more information in a little bit. Just get yourself ready. And body's like, alright, is that this new thing? And yeah, cool, okay, I'll keep an eye out for that. And it's gaining the genetic makeup it needs to fight the virus more and more. So if you catch COVID-19 after your first jab, especially within the time it takes you to get your second, you will only likely get either cold or flu because your body's like, hang on a minute, I recognise that. I'm going to take this, I'm going to attack it. It's so strong, I'm tired. I'm still attacking it, but I'm tired. So it's turned it into cold and flu because it knows where to attack it, and it's attacked that first bit. So the viruses are like, it knows me. Throw sneezes at it. Throw temperature at it. Headache. How about a cough? So you just end up with the virus either panicking or just not throwing its deadliest forms at you instead. Because it's just not. Because the body's just turned around and gone, right, I know you, I'm gonna attack you. So, when you get your second jab, what the second jab is doing is it's also giving you the enzymes and everything else needed. It might not even be enzymes, I can't remember the actual chemical, or not chemical, scientific name for it. But basically, there's this little part of your white blood cells. It's a particular white blood cell that your body needs to fight off particular viruses, or viruses in general. Now, when you have a virus, most of these die. But like your white blood cells, they reproduce before they die, or they reproduce before they attack. So the ones that have attacked it and died because of it won't reproduce, obviously. It's the healthy ones that will reproduce. So you'll have more. That's why if you've ever squeezed a spot, you'll notice that white stuff comes out. That's all the dead blood cells that have sacrificed their lives to make sure you don't die just because you have a spot. So there's that particular one in there that helps fight the virus, and the body needs more and more and more and more of those to fight this virus, because this virus is new, it's ever changing, and it can reproduce, and it's strong, and it's pretty deadly. So in order to stop it killing you, your body needs extra. So the second jab there is one of them anyway, that is giving you more and more of these molecules and parts of the blood cells that your body needs to kill off the virus. That would be the one, I can't remember whether it's the Oxford one or the other one, but it's the one that gives you the picture, not the one with the dead cell in it. There is two, like I've said. Basically, one is like a usual vaccine in the sense of it has a dead part of the virus and it's just telling your body what to look for. The second one isn't necessarily any part of the virus at all. It's probably just the genetic makeup of it without being the virus itself. It's just like, yo, this is a kind of model of COVID-19. This is sort of what we want you to look for. And as my mum kind of put it, the vaccine going here, look at this, and you're looking at a picture and your body's just going, I suppose that's, yeah, okay. Which way? Is it that way? That way? Whatever, I'll figure it out when I see it next. So that's what one of them's doing. And that's the one that I think I'm going to go for, if not the other one. It depends on whether you can ask for particular ones or not. I'm pretty sure you have that right to ask for a particular version. But I reckon that one's going to be the safest. But for you personally, I recommend as my final tip, for vaccine in particular, if you're worried about this vaccine, just watch your family and friends. Note which one they're getting, and then note what symptoms they're having, what they've done beforehand, what other medications they're on, what other health problems they have, and everything else in between. Because not everyone will have an adverse reaction to this. I have adverse reactions to certain vaccines and non-reactions to none at all. Like the vaccine that you have to have 3 of, I can't remember what it was for, but I was really, really badly ill between the 3 that I needed to be considered immune from this. Then I had the polio vaccine and I'm there like, I don't know what's just gone on. Because my body's just like, oh, okay, cool. Yes, people might get ill from this, but it's because the way the body works. Remember, your body is designed to fight anything new that enters it. That's why the female body tries to fight male sperm as it goes through the body. And also, sometimes, very rare cases, very rare, somewhat attacks the fetus. That's a very, very, very rare circumstance because often the fetus comes from the host body itself, so the body's like, oh, no, hang on a minute, I recognise this as ours. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But your body is designed to attack and destroy foreign bodies. But no, I can do more on that because this video is way too damn long now. Anyways, so that's it for me today, guys. Thank you for putting up with me not being here for however long. Thank you for sticking with me, and I will see you on Friday. See ya.
Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime.